You know, lately I've noticed Team Season uploading a lot more animax, whatever, however you pronounce it. And like work in progress animations. Animax, whatever. I've seen them posting a lot more, and with a lot of these fully colorized and dialogued, added in, and work in progress with dialogue added in. You know, I've noticed basically I've noticed lately that they've kind of been showing that the continuation they're going to be doing for season 3 of Sonic SAT-AM, as it's going to be known, the pilot that is. What they've been showing is that the tone for that is going to be a little bit more mature than the original Saturday morning tone. And it reminds me, of course, as I've probably alluded to in the past, it reminds me, of what X-Men 97 did. Because X-Men 97 on Disney Plus, the team behind it took it and made it a continuation of the original Saturday morning cartoon on Fox Kids. And not only did they make it a continuation, but they were able to do things that they were not truly allowed to do, and cross lines that they were not really able to cross as much, with their stories. They were able to, do that and even up it to another level, if you catch my drift. And when I look at season here, I can tell just by, like I say, these clips, these animatic, clips that we're getting, work in progress, colorized, dialogue, no dialogue, whatever. I can kind of see, even with the pilot that they want to use to really get this off the ground, I can see that the tone is definitely taking on a more mature tone. A tone that's more, aimed for the fans that grew up on the original Sonic SAT-AM and not for the newer generation. Now, I'm not saying that they're not going to put stuff in there that, targets the new generation. They probably will. Once this probably gets off the ground and fully realized, down the line. But what I'm getting at, though, is when this is all said and done, in my opinion, I have a feeling, honest to God, that not only is this fan base going to, this overall fan base going to get a lot of references to all kinds of Sonic media in the continuation, but basically we're going to get a more mature, more, I guess you could say more mature, almost adult-like Sonic continuation of the show. Just like we had with X-Men 97. I mean, heck, be honest with you, I look at the clip of the X-Men taking on Bastion in that moment with Rogue basically coming in and saying that line before punching Bastion in the face. I look at that and I think to myself, man, can you just imagine that being Bunny Rabbit in that role, doing that to Eggman or Nagas or whoever, after what happens to Antoine or whoever is, kind of close to her? Can you imagine her doing that? I mean, when I relook at that clip, I just imagine in my mind that that's Bunny Rabbit, going in and doing that to whoever the Sonic villain they're going up against is because of what they did to Antoine. And like I said, I could see them. I could see Team Season and the people they're working with, going in a direction to where they could adapt certain storylines, or at least loosely adapt, certain storylines or elements from storylines, to put into the show. I could see them doing that. But of course, it all depends on whether or not this pilot that they're putting together, this fan-funded pilot, to get a conclusion, or at least start the process and getting a conclusion, gets off the ground, in a successful way. In other words, it gets the approval needed to get picked up, not just maybe by YouTube, like Hell of a Boss was, but picked up maybe by Netflix, maybe picked up by Wildbrain and put on Netflix or so on. It all depends on whether or not that happens. And if it does, which I believe it will, because, God has a plan for everything, and I truly believe he has a plan for this to succeed and, become a reality because the fans want it to happen. They want it to be, and they are strongly behind, it becoming a reality and wanting to see these characters alive again, on their television or on some kind of platform they can, view things on. I've got a feeling that when it gets that approval, we're going to start seeing we're going to start seeing not only some of the stories adapted from the webcomic of season 3, if you will, that was created, but I could see us, later on, I could see them later on, if not throughout the season, the real run season, if you will, the first full-fledged season of the continuation, I could see them loosely adapting elements from the Archie books and such to put into the stories. I could see them doing that. I mean, we see it right now. We did see it, right now, with the X-Men 97 show. They adapted certain elements from all different storylines, from the comics. And, basically, not only did they adapt them, but they basically, put them together. They kind of, I guess you could say, what's the word I'm looking for? They kind of basically, mixed them all together. They kind of gelled them all together to make something unique and different, but also pay tribute to the comics themselves, as well as to the original series, and give that series not only a decent continuation, but also lay the groundwork for, a newer generation of fans to come forth and enjoy what's to come. Basically it became the most watched show streaming-wise outside of Marvel's What If show. So I could see maybe Team Season, and like I said, the people they're working with doing something similar. I could see them putting Antoine and Bunny together, and then maybe something happens with Antoine, and we see Bunny basically go the rogue route and basically want to beat the hell out of whoever's truly responsible for what happened to Antoine. I could see that. I imagine in my mind, I kind of picture it in my mind, basically Bunny being in that position, in that role that Rogue was in that final battle with Bastion at the end of season 1 of X-Men 97. So I could see something like that happening because, again, the vibe I get just based off the clips Team Season is putting out there, the vibe I get is them telling us that not only are they close to being done with the initial pilot to get this off the ground, which it will be, but they're also telling us that this is meant for the older fans. This is meant for the older fans and no one else. For the time being, that is. Because again, I firmly believe that once this gets off the ground, once the pilot proves to be a success and it gets off the ground, not only are they going to get a full-fledged season, whether it's on YouTube or anywhere else, but I firmly believe that not only will this full-fledged season they get be for the fans that grew up and enjoyed and supported the original series, but also for that same fan base that supported and enjoyed reading the Archie Sonic books, because you'll start seeing elements from those certain major stories from those comics inserted into the show. But I think also over time, even in that initial season, you'll get little references to the Sonic, moments here and there from recent years, like games and such, so that the newer fans, can, feel like, hey, we're not being left out, but they could also understand that, oh, this is a Sonic show meant for the older fans, meant for the fans that, grew up and supported the original Saturday morning cartoon and the original comic book by Archie Comics. So to me, I know it sounds crazy and I know it may sound convoluted and a little ramblish, but I firmly believe, in my honest opinion, Team Season, when they get this off the ground, when they get this off the ground and it becomes a success and they get the green light, or the green light, I should say, to make a full-fledged season, if even if it's on YouTube, kind of like Hell of a Boss is, or they get the green light from Netflix and Sega and WildBrain to say, hey, let's do this, I've got a feeling what we're going to get is a show that is going to be very much similar, not identical, but similar in tone to what we had with X-Men 97. Maybe not at the same level, but it will be in tone to where you can definitely feel and see that it's meant to be, for the older audience. I just get this feeling based off the clips and everything, the animatics, if you will. That's the word I'm looking for, the animatics. The WIP animatics, colorized animatics, with dialogue or no dialogue. That's the feeling I get just based off those being released. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. Do you get that same feeling too, for those of you that are supporting Team Season in their efforts to get, Season 3 of Sonic SatAM off the ground? And made into a full-fledged season, whether it's just on YouTube like Hell of a Boss is, or maybe picked up by a streaming platform like Netflix and, people behind it like, WildBrain, and even Sega. Let me know. Comment down below, as well as in the live chat, which, by the way, Super Chats were open. It's in the description. Super Chats are open. I'll even put it at the beginning here so you guys can check that out. But let me know what your thoughts are. Comment down below, live chat, as well as in the live chat. Also check out my Teespring store, as well as the affiliated stores as well, for merchandise, that you can't get anywhere else. And really, that's all I could say, guys. But give me your thoughts. Do you feel that Team Season is going to be doing something similar with, the season series, if you will, for Sonic SatAM, the Season 3 that they're trying to get off the ground? Do you feel that we're going to get a similar, not identical, but similar tone, with it, like we did with X-Men 97? Let me know down below. And until next time, guys, I will talk to you all later.